Hello, my sewing friends. I'm Jen, and let's talk about sewing because today is Friday Sews when we talk about sewing in life. Sewing. I actually have gotten a lot done in here, but with regard to actually fabric under the machine, it's been very little. But oh my goodness, the stuff I've been doing. Let me tell you about the stuff under the machine first. I am still working on this, which is a little dress that I made a couple of years ago, and it was always too short, and I thought it needed to be shortened, so I shortened it. But then I tried it on, and as usual, my hips are fairly narrow. I mean, the place where I carry my weight is all right here. So I'll tell you about that in a second. But you know, anytime I have something like this, a t-shirt, anything, I end up having to narrow the side seams as it comes down to my hips because it just sticks out. And I should have known that about this, honestly, before I stitched the hem, because this was a dress and it did tend to flare out a little bit. This is from a McCall's pattern, and I am not wild about the pattern because I don't really like the way they did the pocket. Although it's a better kangaroo pocket than I've seen on a lot of patterns where you have the kangaroo part is hidden. But I need to put cuffs on, and I'm using the fabric that I cut off the hem for the cuffs. And so it's not quite done yet, but it's almost done. And honestly, it took me less time to do it than it is taking me to tell you about it. That's how quick it was. Next up was this little skirt. This really didn't take any time. This kind of skirt with the waistband that will cut you in half, if you know what I mean. If it's too tight, it will, I don't know, it digs into me, and I don't like that. This is a very cute little skirt. It is, I think it's a New Look pattern. And I was wearing it the other day thrifting, and I tend to do this. I don't carry a purse. I put things in my pockets. You can see that there are two patch pockets here. It's probably not very flattering if I do that like that, is it? Anyway, because those are relatively heavy, I have a case on my phone that is a wallet, which is why I don't need a purse. Well, I was wearing it and my keys were in the other pocket, and this thing started to go down, and actually it was doing this, down and down and down in the front. I went in the dressing room to try something on, to try this on, and oh my gosh. So I thought, when I get home, I need to pull that waistband in just a little bit because I don't want that happening again. So I just undid the zipper from about halfway up, and then took in I kind of angled and took a little more seam allowance there and just put it back on. And really, it took no time because all of it was top stitching. That was it. So I did that very quick. And then I also did something with this little tank dress. You know, I talked about this last week, and I talked about how it came down too low in the front. Well, I took and made some kind of straps in the front. I don't know if you can even see these. Can you see those? Some straps in the front, and I thought, well, let's not do one on each side. Let's do two, and then make a little kind of, braided effect in the middle. So I did that, and I tried it on, and I really like it. And it doesn't really pull it up as much as it just draws your attention up so that it's not quite, doesn't seem quite so low. Those were the three things I sewed. That's it. One other thing I did was, I have this little dress that was given to me by Trish at Pinky's Farm. She's a dear, dear friend, and I love it. I would wear it all the time, but it's too short. And it has this little flouncy kind of thing on the bottom. It's not a ruffle, it's just kind of a flounce. So I wanted to add a navy blue, like another flounce under it. And if I didn't like that, I'd take off the top flounce and just leave it. So I ordered some navy rayon because I knew if I went to Joann's, they don't carry rayon very much. And I thought, I'll just order it online. Well, the thing about ordering it online is that you don't always get an exact color match, and I didn't. And you can see the difference here. Now, if I cared that much, I would probably look for another fabric, maybe the coral in this or the green or even white. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to bother. I initially was thinking, yeah, you should do that. But do I really want to be that picky about it? Not really. So in the interest of ditching the perfection for 2024, I am going to cut a little under ruffle for that. And again, that'll just go underneath here and it'll stick out a little above the bottom, maybe a couple of inches, because it's not very much too short, it's just a little bit. So it'll look more like trim actually than anything else, which I probably should have thought about as trim, but I didn't. So, and that's rayon, so I wanted the same fabric. So this will do fine. And I'll probably have enough of it left over to make like a cami, which I seem to be wearing a lot of these days. So what is the one that everybody makes? The Ogden cami? I have no idea who makes it, but I just know that everybody makes a lot of them. So maybe I'll do that. Because a cami can't have that many pages to print, right? It can't. I think I'd be willing to tape it together, maybe. I have some things here that that need my attention. I'll tell you this because my daughters never watch my videos. I have a daughter who loves comfort and doesn't care about fashion. And I would love for her to be comfortable, but a little more fashionable because she needs some fashion in her life. And so I've gotten a few things that I've thrifted, and one of her non-negotiables, as is mine, is pockets. It has to have pockets. So I've got a skirt here that needs to have pockets and a couple of t-shirts for me that need to be narrowed. This is the sum total of all the under the sewing machine sewing. But let me tell you, let's transition into life, because this really has more to do with life than it does sewing, actual sewing. It's sewing room related, but not actual put it under this presser foot and so. Okay, you know, I have said I need to purge. I need to purge. I've run out of storage. I don't want to buy more storage. I just want to get rid of some stuff. And so I put on my ruthless hat. Look, when actually are you going to use those scraps? Why do you need all of this ancient thread? A lot of the spools don't even have enough thread on them to use. Why? Why do I have these? It's mainly because I like the wooden spools, but okay, well, get over yourself. You've got a lot of wooden spools. A lot of it was just random stuff that I had too much of. I had, let's see, I think I got rid of 5 seam rippers. 5. To be fair, 3 of the ones were the little plastic ones. They're not very big, and they come with your sewing machine, and I thought, no. So I got rid of buttons. I bet you I got rid of, well, I don't know. What's a good count? It's like the people, you know, you go to the fair and they say, guess the amount of marbles in the jar, you know, something like that. I have no idea. I'm really bad at that. But I can tell you that it is a gallon-sized Ziploc bag that is bulging, that you can hardly close. Actually, it's two of those, because I found one yesterday when I was going through, and I thought, oh, those gotta go too. Now, to be fair, I did pull out the ones I like. I condensed it down to a project bag that I can zip shut. So it's still a lot of buttons, but it's probably no more than would fit in one of those cookie tins that's about 3 inches deep. I think I might overflow a little, but you know, a lot of these are still on the cards. So I did not keep, I got rid of probably 3/4 of what I had. And I bet I had 10,000 buttons. So you know what? I feel good about that. I got rid of some books, several books. I freed up an entire cubby square that I can use now. I went through projects that I hadn't finished, but were in bags and ready to go. And I got rid of about 3 of those and said, no, What was I thinking? I don't know. Scraps. I got rid of so many scraps. I still have 7 of the bins, but they're all half full or less. So I divided them up into kinds of fabrics, and I feel really good about that. Let's see. I got rid of some other sewing notions like marking pencils. Why do I need all these marking pencils? The moral of this story is, yes, you can collect things. You can. If you are a collector, it's totally fine. But when you get to the point that you go, okay, I'm collecting useful things and I'm not using them, then it's time to call a halt and just say, okay, wait a minute. Ease too much. So I feel so good about what I'm getting rid of. And I'll show you, this is all of it. I have not started into the patterns yet. And I have a lot of patterns. But already in my own mind, I'm thinking I'm not getting rid of any of my Laura Ashley patterns because I love Laura Ashley and I will not part with those. A lot of them are vintage. A lot of them are vintage reprints. But I am not ready to let those go because those are worth a lot to me. But I've got a lot of patterns that I need to go through. Now, I'm on the fence about some of the vintage ones because I have patterns, you know, the couple that I have from the 1940s, I will never let go of. And, you know, a lot from the 50s. I have 60s, I have 70s, I have 80s, I have 90s, and then I have the entire 2000s in one notebook. And I say notebooks, these are in binders. And I put the pattern envelope in those. And then I store the patterns in a different envelope, a manila envelope. And that's what all of my storage over to my left is. So, yeah, I've got to start going through those. But here's the thing. I thought I would go through those with you. And, you know, just bit by bit. And I know I will break some of your hearts, but I'm going to do that and probably sell them on eBay. And so I'll let you know when those go up. And that way, if you want any of them, you can buy them there and they'll be cheap. Life has been a little less stressful because of some things I've implemented. I have 5 daughters and 2 son-in-laws. And when you have that many people in a family, there is always a fair amount of drama. You know, I've not been here a couple of weeks in January. And, you know, I've put up shorts and I did get a comment about how this person was really concerned about me and said, are you doing okay? Because we've missed you. And I know you put up these other shorts, but they were recycled from a goals video that I did. Yes, that's true. Sometimes you do that with shorts. You take a little piece of a video and you do that as a video. It's quick, it's easy. All you're doing is taking a snippet and, you know, putting it out as a short. That's why I did that. So now you're all caught up. You know, when I was stressed out about getting rid of stuff, a lot of that has to do with not controlling your environment. If you are like me, then you can't work in a mess. You just can't. That's why no sewing has gotten done in January, because everything has been a mess. Not a mess physically, as much of a mess emotionally. I think one will cripple you to handle the other, and then the other starts to cripple you. And it's this vicious cycle that you get into. Well, over the past week, I have been putting things away, clearing things out, doing whatever I have to do to create a clean desk, a clean workspace, a clean environment. Wow, what a difference. Not kidding, what a difference. So, okay, let's move on to little prayer card. You know, that little bit of Jesus that I throw in at the end, because that's who I am. I am a person of faith, and I want to share that with you. Let your light shine before others. That's from Matthew 5:16. That's what I'm doing when I share this little bit of Jesus at the end, is trying to let that light that is within me, that is Jesus, I'm trying to share that with you. So I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but a lot of you, it is your cup of tea. So I encourage you, if that is your cup of tea, that you do it too. Let your light shine. Okay, I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.